Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to jump into a few new products that Rare Beauty recently launched. They launched some cream blushes, some cream eyeshadow, and some glosses. I'm going to get into all of the details about these products. I'm going to try them on. I am going to swatch them next to some of the other products that I have in my collection, and then we're going to get into my final thoughts. Before we move on to the application, I'm just going to kind of share with you guys what I picked up, what the details are, so let's jump into it. All of the products were released with 5 shades. So the blush, the eyeshadow, and the glosses were all released in the same shade to kind of give that monochromatic look so that your eyeshadow, your blush, and your lips could all kind of be the same color. So let's jump into the blushes first. These are the cream blushes. I actually think the packaging is really cute on these. So these retail for $21. I picked them up in 2 shades. I picked up Nearly Apricot and Nearly Neutral. This one right here is the Nearly Apricot, and this one right here is Nearly Neutral. So you guys can see what those look like. The packaging's really cute though, right? So I'm gonna try both of these on so you guys can see what they look like. I have some recommendations and some final thoughts on these. So these retail for $21 each. You can pick them up on the Sephora website or also the Rare Beauty website. They are a mistake-proof liquid-like cream blush that melts into a second skin for the most natural looking wash of soft focus color. Then we have the Stay Vulnerable liquid eyeshadow. This I only picked up in 1 shade. I grabbed this in Nearly Neutral. These retail for $20. These are a weightless liquid to powder eyeshadow that blends seamlessly for a quick buildable wash of long-lasting waterproof crease resistant color. So that's the information on those. The glosses. So I actually bought one of the glosses, but Sephora was actually offering a deluxe size sample in the gloss. So I bought 1 shade so I could see what the full packaging is and all of that. And then this is another shade that I got in a deluxe size sample. So these are $18. Again, they come in the same shades as the liquid eyeshadow and the blushes. They are a hydrating, non-sticky, long-lasting lip gloss that cushions lips all day with a soft, nourishing color and shine. So that's all the information on the new products. Let's go ahead and jump into the application, and then we will get into the swatches of these products next to some of the other products that I have. And then, of course, I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. So here we are. I got a few new products from Rare Beauty. Let's go ahead and jump into them. I'm excited to try these out. As you guys know, I am a huge sucker for cream blushes, and I'm actually starting to get into cream eyeshadow. I've been really kind of resorting to them sometimes, and I really don't want to deal with the hassle of powder eyeshadow. So for me, this is perfect, and I'm excited to try them. So let's jump into the cream blushes first. I have 2 shades, and they come in boxes like this. This is what the boxes look like. I have Nearly Neutral and Nearly Apricot. Now, some people say apricot, I say apricot. I think it all depends on what part of the country here you live. But this is Nearly Apricot, and it's definitely that, you know, it's got that apricot color, and it's kind of like obviously like a peachy undertone. And then Nearly Neutral is definitely just a neutral, and I'm excited to apply these. They're very smooth to the touch. It feels really silky smooth after you kind of blend it out. So I don't know. Let's see how these will apply. So I'm just going to use a clean blush brush. I always like applying cream blushes with a natural haired brush. So I'm going to go into the Nearly Neutral first. I'm going to pick some of that up, and I'm going to apply it on this side. Now, the only thing I have on, is foundation and like concealer and stuff, but I didn't put any bronzer or anything on. I wanted to just kind of keep it neutral and see how these apply on the face without anything underneath them. Okay, doing it with a brush, I feel like disrupts the foundation underneath. I don't know. I'm going to wipe the brush off, and I'm going to put this Nearly Apricot on this side, and I'm wondering if I need to apply these with a sponge, maybe to not disrupt the foundation and concealer and stuff like right here. So I don't know. Let's see. It almost makes it look a little translucent. Yeah, so it does kind of lift some of the foundation. Not a lot, but it does. I feel like a sponge might be the best way to apply these. So I'm going to take the one side of my sponge that doesn't have anything on it. I'm going to go down into this nearly neutral and just apply this on this side. I'm going to go on this side of the sponge, and I'm going to go into the nearly apricot and go on this side. Yeah, the sponge works a lot better with this. I think if you want a light application, I would apply with a brush, but if you want real color, I would recommend a sponge. I think the sponge works best with these. I think it doesn't feel like it disrupts the foundation underneath. Personally, I mean, this is like my first time using it, obviously, but when I started using the brush, I just felt like it was kind of picking up what was underneath. But using a sponge and it kind of pushed it into the foundation that's underneath versus picking it up. So I think that these are probably best applied with a sponge. You can kind of see that this side does have a little bit more of a peachy tone. This one's just a little bit more on the neutral side. But not a big difference between the colors on my skin tone anyway. If you have a lighter skin tone, you will probably see a bigger difference between the shades. But on my skin tone, they're kind of working hand in hand as far as I don't know that they're that different on the skin to say that you would need both colors if you're my skin tone. So before we move into the liquid eyeshadows, I want to put something on my lips. So I have two shades here. I bought this shade, which is nearly mauve, but I was going to buy nearly neutral because that's kind of the colors that I wear. But this nearly neutral was available as a deluxe size sample from Sephora. So I went ahead and bought the nearly mauve shade because I wanted to see what the mauve color looked like. And then I got the nearly neutral as a sample. So let's put on the nearly mauve first and just see the opacity in the gloss. It's a thick gloss, but it feels really comfortable on the lip. I don't mind this. I think this is pretty. So let's wipe it off and see what nearly neutral looks like. Okay, so this is nearly neutral. So there is a little difference. This is just a lighter, just a neutral gloss. This mauve had more purple in it. So there is a difference, and I can see a clear difference when I put each one of them on. So anyway, this is a decent opaque gloss. I don't know that it's as opaque as the new cream ones from Fenty. As I swatch and stuff, I will kind of compare the opacity to some of the other glosses. And then, of course, I will give you my full thoughts in my final thoughts. But this is very comfortable. I'm going to wear it throughout the remaining of the video and see how it works. But so far, so good. Let's go ahead and play with the nearly neutral. Now, this is a liquid eyeshadow, and there's several different ways that you can kind of work with liquid eyeshadows. For me personally, I like to apply on the back of my hand and then kind of work from there. I like to use, if you're using natural hair brushes, I prefer using brushes that have a white, like the white goat hair, which is undyed goat hair. It seems like it just works better with cream products. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of this on the back of my hand. I feel like I have more control with it on the back of my hand than just going directly in and trying to blend it out. So what I like to do is just put some here, and then I'm going to grab some with my brush, and I'm just going to start applying it. So a little bit of this goes a really long way. You don't need very much. And based on how much color it has, I would definitely recommend putting it on the back of your hand. Because I think if you get too much, if you go directly in, like say that you put like a few dots in and then try to blend it out until you get used to the formula, I think if you have too much, it'll be a lot harder for you to kind of start blending it in. So I'm going to take a little bit more and bring it here on the lower lash line. like about this is that you can blend it even after it dries. Like I was having a little bit of an issue with a line like right here, but even after it dried, I was able to go in and kind of blend it out. It's very similar, I would say, to the, let's see, the NARS one that I have, this one. This is actually a tinted smudge-proof eyeshadow base from NARS. I have this in the shade Dark. I've been using this recently as I've started to get into, you know, more liquid eyeshadows. And even though that is a base, it still kind of works the same. You can wear it alone, or you can wear it as a base to put powder eyeshadow over top of it. But I do like the way that this blends out. It's very easy to blend out. Now, if I was gonna, you know, create a look with this, I would probably go ahead and put some shimmer on the lid, call it a day, but I want to see how this is going to wear on its own, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm not going to put anything over top of it. And for reference, the base that I used for my eyeshadow base is the Mario, Makeup by Mario eyeshadow base. And I used the powder to kind of set it into place. So that's the only thing I have on underneath it for reference. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this other eye and put some mascara on, finish the rest of my makeup. I will come back. We will do swatches. I will get into my thoughts on these. So I will see you guys then. Okay, so now that we've made it through the swatches, before we jump into my final thoughts, up here on the screen is my editing Tara, and this is me letting you know how long the cream eyeshadow and the cream blush lasted on my skin. So now that we have that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into my thoughts. The first things first, I think I like the cream eyeshadow out of everything that I used today. I feel like that was a very easy formula to use. I have been using, like I said, that product from NARS. You guys know I love my Eyes to Mesmerize. Those are the cream shimmer shadows from Charlotte Tilbury. Those are something that I reach for consistently. I've been using cream eyeshadows. I don't have a lot of liquid eyeshadows, but I do have a lot of cream eyeshadows that come in the sticks. Some of them are from Laura Mercier and the Caviar sticks, several of them from Nude Sticks, and so those are the kind of products that I use. The only liquid one that I use that's a matte is the one from NARS. So far, I like the formula. I thought they were very easy to blend. Now, you can use the applicator on these. You saw me put them on the back of my hand and then, you know, put it on. And if you're not used to cream eyeshadows, I recommend using that application first until you get used to cream eyeshadows. So if you're gonna go directly in, if you just don't wanna waste the time and put it on the back of your hand and have to worry about wiping it off, I get that. If you just want to go directly in, I just recommend wiping off the applicator just so that you don't have a lot, because this is, it's got some good pigment, and, you know, it's not something that you want a lot of. You want just a little bit blended out. My experience with any cream eyeshadow, whether it's a shimmer or a matte, my experience is less is more. And if you use too much, you will run the risk of it creasing and, you know, kind of breaking away from the skin throughout the day. So less is more when it comes to cream eyeshadows. Now, if you've used cream eyeshadows and you're very familiar, then go right ahead and go straight in using the applicator. This is a very, very creamy formula, but it also dries down to a nice matte texture. I would say more of a satin matte, but it's very easy to use, and I didn't really have any issues with it. I think it depends on your experience with these liquid eyeshadows. Now, as far as the cream blushes, the one thing that I will say is I've had to add a little bit more off camera. This seems to fade. Especially when I went over it with a tiny bit of powder. I didn't use a lot. I grabbed my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finishing Powder, and I was just kind of using this small brush and just kind of going over it to kind of set it. So it wasn't like I went in with a heavy amount of setting powder, but I don't feel like these are as long lasting as some of the other cream blushes that I have. I think these are a very buildable formula. I think if you want a very light wash of color, then I think you'll love these. If you're a blush person like me, I don't know that these are going to have enough pigment in order to make you look like you have blush on. I am a type of person that I love blush. So for me, that was the reason why the Patrick Ta, these are the double take cream and powder blush duos. These were perfect for me because I kind of got the best of both worlds. I got a really great powder to first apply, and then going over top of it with a cream to kind of give it that dewiness of that fresh cream blush look. These are just incredible. It's my favorite. I still have yet to find a formula that's as good as this. So with that said, if you're somebody that likes a little bit of a wash of color, then I think you might really like these. And as you could see up on the swatches, I compared these two shades to some of the shades that I have from Fenty Beauty. The formula is very similar. The Fenty Beauty cream blushes were not my favorite, only because they just didn't last that long. The longevity, they fade on my skin very easily, especially with masks wearing and stuff like that. This is also a formula that will disrupt what's underneath. And you saw in the application that when I used a brush, it really lifted the foundation that was underneath. You're going to get the most intensity by using a brush, but you're also going to run the risk of it lifting the foundation from underneath. So I don't know that I love these. I don't know that these are going to replace the cream blushes that I use, which right now on a regular basis, I have been using the By Terry Brightening CC Blush. It's one of my favorites. And I also really, really love the Rare Beauty, the liquid blush. Now these I have to take and put on the back of my hand and then take my brush, go in it, and then apply. If I go in and kind of dot my skin with these and then try to blend it out, it looks really splotchy. It never looks good. But if I take a drop of it on the back of my hand like this, and then I go in with a brush like this and kind of blend it into the bristles of the brush and then apply, I get a beautiful application. And it doesn't make my foundation look transparent. It doesn't allow my skin, like some of the imperfections on my skin, to peek through. So I think it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're wanting a very natural looking blush, you might really like this new formula. Now, if you bought the liquid blush and you were not in love with it, you might like these. It depends on what you didn't like about the liquid. It just, we're all different. Makeup works differently for different people. We all apply things differently, and we all have different wants and needs and skin concerns and all of that. So it all depends on what you're looking for. For me personally, the number one thing that I don't like about this is that I have to build it. And the more that I build it, the more it makes what's underneath transparent. It makes my foundation kind of disappear, and you can see all the imperfections coming through. And the other thing that I don't like about this is it's so buildable, and it doesn't last as long. Like, I can tell it's not going to be a very long lasting formula based on the fact that when I went off camera to finish this eye, put some mascara on. When I looked, it was almost gone. I was like, wait, what happened to my... What happened to my blush? And because I personally like blush, this is just a little bit too natural for me. But if you love a natural looking blush, you might really like this formula. I feel like it's going to work for a lot of people, but there's a lot of people it's not going to work for, and I am one of them. So I hope that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below. The glosses are really pretty. I wish they had a little bit more opacity to them. I feel like they're a little bit more clear, and I've had this on for about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, and it's almost gone. I just have a nice shine to my lips. I don't feel like these glosses are anything different than what we already have. I think that's what I loved about the Fenty Beauty cream glosses, is they're just so opaque and they're so beautiful. And they reminded me of the Lisa Eldridge, which is kind of hard to get because they're always out of stock. Lisa Eldridge has some of the most opaque glosses and they're stunning, but they're always out of stock. When Fenty launched the cream glosses, I was immediately obsessed because they're opaque, they're beautiful, and they're very soft on the lip, but even though they're gloss, they still look like they have color and they're thick and opaque, and I love that. But these are a great gloss. Like, I'm not saying that they're gumpy. They don't feel gross on the lips. There's a lot of glosses that feel gross on the lips. Am I right? These do not feel gross on the lips. They look very beautiful on the lip and they feel very pretty on the lip. But it depends on if you're looking for more opacity. And if you are, I recommend the ones from Fenty Beauty. Again, it's all going to be kind of subjective on what you're looking for, but for me, the liquid eyeshadow is probably what I love the most. I think the glosses are okay. I don't feel like they're anything different than we already have on the market right now. And the cream blushes are a pass. They don't give me enough color. Yes, they're a very sheer buildable formula, so they will work for a lot of people out there. But for me, I need more blush. I'm just a blush girl. So I hope that this review was helpful. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. Sound off down below. Have you guys bought any of the products that I'm talking about in today's video? If you have, what are your experiences? What do you like? What do you don't like? Like I've always said, this is just my opinion, and your opinion is just as important as any other creator coming on camera and sharing their experience. So sound off down below. Let us know your thoughts, especially if it differs from my opinion, because every opinion matters. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you guys all have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.